Chapter 4. The Discontent Teacher. Ha! What a reckless old man. Serious, he's twice stronger than I imagined. And what was with that 8 consecutive slashes attack? It made me seriously wonder if I'm in some sort of manga setting. I managed to dodge the strikes, but frankly, if it wasn't for my boost spell, I would have been done for. Moreover, his abilities were considerably reduced by his old age and negligence. I don't know what would have happened if he was still in his prime. Yet, I managed to beat him in the weapon fight. The wooden sword was surely strong and hard to break, but if the same spot gets hit repeatedly, it naturally becomes fragile. After that, it's possible to break the sword if one aims and hits that same fragile spot at full strength. This feat was only possible because of my boost and my eyesight, which allowed me to avoid bullets in my previous life. At worst, if only my sword broke, I would have declared my defeat and given up. That old man is clearly a battle maniac. He kept laughing out loud while fighting, and he genuinely had fun as he waved his sword around. He was pretty easy to read since emotion overcame him like that, so I managed to catch him off guard when the weapons broke and I hit him in the jaw, knocking his lights out. Since I kicked without holding back, it violently shook his brain. He probably won't be getting up for a while. That attack was at a level that would have surely killed an ordinary person. Even so, it's as one would expect from the old man titled as the strongest. Though not as much as him who's sleeping in a satisfied mood, I too am quite happy about being able to go all out after all this time. I'd like to have him as an opponent again, but I guess there would be some age-related issues. Anyway, I'll go take care of the old man. I can't bear to leave him drenched in sweat outside. He. Leor. He suddenly begins to laugh out loud. Did I kick him too hard? So fun. It's been such a long time since I had this kind of fight. I feel reborn. Leor, as he says that, he springs up to his feet as if nothing had happened. No, wait, are you kidding me? Did he immediately recover after getting his brain shaken like that? Sorry, but I'd like you to tell me your name again, Leor. You'd think that calling me only boy would make you unable to remember. It's serious, no need for honorifics and stuff like that. It's alright for you to call me as you like as well, serious. You beat me after all, Leor. The old man doesn't stop laughing at all. He already accepted the situation, didn't he? That was due to my surprise attack, right? I surely would have lost if I had used a frontal one. Serious, it was due to nothing but my own carelessness. I'll be eternally ashamed if we say that I didn't lose, Leor. I understand. Then, it's my win. Serious, indeed, it's your win. But well, that was so fun. My techniques didn't go through at all, Leor. Now is not the time to get excited. We should finish maintaining our bodies first. We're both pretty worn out, right? Serious, never mind the old man. Even I am sweaty and my clothes are split here and there, even though I didn't get any direct hit on me. We only grazed the clothes with our wooden swords, but our slashes ended up cutting them as we kept on fighting. Our physical and mental strength got drained as well. That's right. For the time being, let's get back to take a rest inside and Leor. As he enters the house, he goofily slips down, falls and knocks down the door. That just goes to show that his foot was thoroughly damaged. I feel relieved to see him act like a proper human being. We return to the house and, after taking care of our bodies, we start drinking tea while facing each other at both sides of a table. Delicious. Serious and Leor, the old man and me have almost the same age, so there is nothing strange about us using the same line after finishing a cup of tea. Phew, such a pleasant fatigue. Well then, Serious, first of all, I want to thank you, Leor. The old man bows down strongly like he's going to prostrate himself. Though I somehow understand his motive, I still think he's going too far. Raise your face. This whole thing allowed me to get some valuable experience, so I also want to express my gratitude. Serious, still, I kept longing for a strong man like you. If you hadn't come, I would have faded away while rotting quietly. Therefore, I want to express my gratitude. Thank you, Leor. His face radically changes from the bored look he had after we met earlier, and it's now beaming with a radiant smile. He looks 10 years younger as well. It doesn't feel bad to be thanked. Even though I intended to only fight the old man, we ended up having a pleasant conversation. Putting the thanking aside, I have a favor to ask you. Would you mind fighting me again, Leor? You mean, right now? Serious, exactly, is what I want to say, but my body is at its limit. Besides, it would be impolite of me to face you in such a bad state, Leor. You think it would be alright in terms of age difference? Serious, no problem with that. It won't be troublesome for me to get back to my prime either because of this sense of fulfillment. Besides, you want to do it too, don't you, Leor? You understand that? Serious, I do. Though your fighting style is quite unusual, you used a lot of catching off guard, sneak attacks and things like that. Despite that, you crossed swords with me from the front. That just goes to show that you indeed wanted to train, Leor. He seems to have thoroughly inspected me despite him fighting solely on instinct. As the old man said, my fighting style is oriented to melee, sneak attacks and the likes. In my previous life's work, I used to sneak into the enemy's camp by myself and perform my assassination, but I'd end up rampaging and destroying everything inside. Frankly, if anything happens, I can just fire my magnum at close range. However, there might be a situation where I can't use neither magic nor surprise attacks. The fact is that I have to forge the skills necessary to fight confidently from the front. I also know the enjoyment of training, though not as much as the old man. All of that is the reason behind me fighting from the front with him. You get to train and I get to fight you. See? It's a win-win. How is that, Leor? You already know the answer, right? I'm looking forward to our cooperation. Serious, Umu. Then it's a deal, Leor. We exchange a firm handshake. Though it's all good since I'll be growing from my child state to adulthood, the old man will keep raising back after this. Additionally, since his declined body strength will return, I think this is going to be an unimaginable penance for me. It's a pleasure for me to be able to chase your back at my age. I'm looking forward to it, though I'm not likely to catch up no matter how much I try, Leor. If it's this old man, he might actually do just that, and unexpectedly fast. I have a hunch that, at worst, he'll get even stronger than when he was in his prime. I mean, this kind of battle maniacs get outrageous specs once they have a goal in sight, don't they? Too, can't be careless. After getting FIA as a new friend, I was able to get a rival whom I can fight against on equal footing. After that, while waiting for my strength to recover, I talked to the old ma. Leor. I explained my personal situation and I listened to Leor's past story, which was really worthwhile. I showed him some magic on the way, but as I thought my magic is too special and even Leor never saw anything like it, even though he's an elder. I'd like to fight you with all of your magic someday. Just thinking about how I should fight makes me boil. Opening parenthesis. Leor, you're already sick, aren't you? Serious, and I'll never recover, ha 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 ha. Leor, when we came back, I had him share some tea leaves. Since Leor's new discovery didn't have a name, I named it Japanese tea. I plan to visit frequently after this, so I firmly mark the place on my handmade map. It should take me about 1 hour from here to my place if I go straight home, I guess. The next time you come, I'll be back to being able to swing my love blade to the limit. Opening parenthesis. Leor. Because of your age. Try not to overwork yourself. Serious, screw that, I'm still on active service, Leor. Leor's love blade is a huge sword as big as himself. I think it's 100 kilograms at the very least. As I feel a shiver remembering that the old man declared that he's gonna swing that thing around, I leave Leor and return to my home. Welcome home, Sirius, saw Matilda, Noelle. When I came back to the house, Noelle, who was wiping the windows, greeted me by waving her hand. By the way, though there is glass in this world, it's not transparent like in my previous life, so the windows are made out of a material gotten from a transparent kind of demons. I'm home, Noelle. Did anything unusual come up? Sirius, nothing in particular. Oh, now that you mention it, Discontent said that he wanted to report something to you, Noelle. Got it. I guess that, if it's at this time, he called me to the warehouse, right? Serious? Yes, Noelle. The warehouse is a building on a corner of the courtyard. Therefore, since that's where we repeat various experiments, D should be there too. I see off Noelle as I head toward the entranceway, but the door opens before I get to reach out my hand tight and I'm greeted by Alina. Welcome home, Serious Alina. I'm home, Alina. Serious bowing gracefully, she checks me for injuries. This is bad. I forgot that my clothes were torn during the fight with Lior. I thought that Noelle would point it out, but it seems that she's used to my odd behavior. The eyes of Alina sharpen and she grips my shoulder as I break out in a cold sweat. So tattered. Are there any injuries? It's alright. Only my clothes were torn, so I'm unhurt. Really? I'll confirm it as you change your clothes. No. I told you it's alright. I'll confirm it. Yes. Although she's like a mother to me, being watched while changing my clothes is still mortifying. But she's genuinely worried about me rather than the clothes, so it's hard to refuse. In the end, I didn't stop her and I changed my clothes while being watched by Alina. Midway, I mutter, they became splendid, thinking of my muscles. When I finished changing my clothes and went back to the living room, D was waiting while holding a wooden container. Welcome home, Serious I'm home, D. I heard you have something to tell me. What is it? Yes, look at this please. Oh, were you finally able to do it? D holds out a container filled up to the brim with water and with a white object sinking inside. I'd only taste lightly to assess it, but there is no mistaking it. How is it? Good, it's complete. This is just like I imagined it. Thank goodness. The thing that D prepared is tofu. There is a bean similar to soybean in this world, and, as a result of my examination, I found out that it's almost the same as the ones in my previous life. The bean already has some excessively long name, but since I call it soybean, it became like a rule to do so, and all the others call it this way now. D repeated a process of trial and error in the warehouse, trying to make various things with this. One of those things is this tofu. Using my instructions, he finally managed to make it. Though I'm the one procuring the material and the knowledge, I still feel sorry for entrusting most of the actual making to D. Tofu is made by soaking the beans in water for a long time, boiling it in a certain way and blending it, among other things. It's a lot of simple but troublesome work. I'm sorry, I always make you do the troublesome work. Not at all. I learn from it and I enjoy it. I see, then, please take care of me next time again. Leave it to me. Is this tofu? It's a very soft thing, isn't it, Noelle, who finished wiping the windows, gives her impression while poking the tofu. I guess that one wouldn't normally think that hard beans could become like this. I only know how to make dishes such as this tofu because cooking was one of my hobbies in my previous life. While touring the world for the war, I kept forcibly eating rations from food shortages and whatever else I found, and I eventually became able to eat anything no matter how bad it is, as long as it's not poisoned. However, wanting to eat something good apart from that, I started cooking and, without noticing, it became a hobby and I acquired various knowledge about it. I wonder what it tastes like, Noelle. Well, it's not very tasty. Serious, Serious, it's complete, isn't it, Noelle? It is indeed. This is mostly used combined with other things rather than by itself. The food texture is quite unique, but that's the most important part of the dish. Serious, so cooking isn't just about making delicious things. It's actually pretty deep, Noelle. Nevertheless, this is a relief. I'll be able to complete what I plan to make today. Serious, What do you mean, Serious, Noelle? A new dish, Deco. That's because I went to the sea and I managed to catch this fellow here. Serious, the tension between the two goes up as they hear about the new dish. That's because I let them taste every time I develop a dish that's not from this world. Though there are some likes and dislikes, they mostly like the things I make, so they're tightly holding to their stomachs. By the way, Noelle's favorites are mayonnaise and pudding. These are tempura and fried chicken. Alina's favorite is French toast. It's like a reminder of that time she ate it when I rescued her. I'm a little embarrassed, though the two of them are cheering all together. Their expressions harden as soon as they see the thing I take out. I wonder if suddenly taking out dry seaweed is strange. What's this black thing? It gives off a bad feeling. This is a kind of grass that grows in the sea. It's called kombu. I found it on the coast and I left it to dry there before crossing the continent. I collected it on my way back. The flavor should be good since it dried for about half a day. You want us to eat that? Well, the thing is just like I imagined it. However, this time, I'll use it to make a soup rather than eating it, which can be made with seaweed. Though I immediately try to head to the kitchen to cook it, Alina stops me midway and starts preparing tea. Serious, Alma? Shouldn't you take a rest since you just came back? Is that so? You guys should also go take a rest. Serious, Alma? I want to ask you for the reason behind your clothes getting torn. She's smiling but she's giving off a very intense presence. I want her to stop making that face because, frankly speaking, it's scary. Thus, I easily explain that I met Lior. Hey, you met that goose rouge, is it that surprising? His strength was terrific but he only looked like a retired old man visually. No, I never met him but I can say for sure he's amazing. To the extent that he even appeared as the hero in books. Alina, he's also called a living legend. I heard that too. He'd charge at any enemy camp by himself and make them surrender in only a day. He seems to have innumerable heroic episodes. Alina, could it be that you challenged, as if Tilda? There is no way that's true, right Tilda? Noelle, I understand all this well. That person was really strong. Honestly, it was a very close victory. Serious, ha. Ah ha ha. Though it sounds like a joke, I can believe this if it's you, Noelle. Seriously, if they get surprised by each of my actions, there will be no end to this. Though that applies for Noelle, Alina only nods with a consenting expression. So your clothes got torn because you fought against that goose rouge. However, serious, Alma, please don't overdo it, Alina, but I won't get stronger without overdoing it. Serious, still, though I can overlook it to some degree, I'll say this again and again. Please don't ever overdo it, Alina. I understand. Serious, though her words are kinda annoying, they come from pure worry about me. I guess she won't back away even if I whine about it, so the best thing to do is to do not obediently. However, having her overlook my behavior is better, but I can't let Alina worry every time. I have to find a way to inform her of my safety. I'll think about something. Nevertheless, it's an amazing story to meet someone like the legendary Gooserugi and a rare elf in such a short span of time. Noelle, even if you say so, I just met them by accident. Serious, I want to meet them too. I don't know about Gooserugi-san, but I heard that elves are beautiful. Serious, Sama, that person was a pretty woman, right? Could it be that you fell in love? Noelle, that's no good. Even as she's a beauty and an elf, I have to meet her properly. I won't permit this if I think that she's not suited. Alina, it's hopeless. Alina's eyes are just like those of a mother-in-law. Well, I can't imagine her scolding or blaming FIA for omitting a step while cleaning. The other party is the one who fell in love. I can't say that. Though the kiss was just a form of gratitude, Alina would surely snap if she were to know about it. He said that they can't meet for at least a decade, right? Then forget about the elf. Today's event is more important. Noelle, yes, then please be really careful. Alina, got it. Well then, I guess it's about time to go cooking. Get me 2 pieces of tofu out of the warehouse. I'll use it to cook. Serious, I understand. Now then, I'll try to make some yosinabe. This world doesn't have much seasonings, nor does it have any good soup stock matching vegetables and meat. When I found the sea, I remembered the existence of kelp kombu. I found something that had the same shape and atmosphere. I checked it for poison, but there was none, and so I'm cooking it as an experiment. First, I use a squeezed dry dishcloth to wipe off the dirt on the surface of it, and I put it in a saucepan filled with water, which I then simmer on a medium flame. Just before it starts boiling, I take out the kelp, and just like this, the soup is done. Then, I cut the vegetables and the meat that Dee prepared into a moderate size. I put the difficult to boil materials in the soup and I cook them together. I regulate the taste with salt and sugar since there is no soy sauce. After letting it simmer some more, the tastes of the materials start to leak out and so the yosanabe is now complete. Though the cooking method is easy, it looks delicious. However, I don't know about the quantity per person. This is a dish which isn't actually supposed to be divided, rather, everyone has to eat from the same plate. I'll explain when all members gather, so let's make dinner for now. I prepare a small table with Dee taking notes next to me. Everyone is now encircling the pot. By the way, since there is no gas stove, I put up a fire magic tool below on a weak setting. Alina and Noelle tilt their necks looking at the completed nabe. Is this nabe? Where did the black grass go? Noelle. It contains the tofu from earlier too. Doesn't it? Are there any special manners to eat this? Alina. I did add some seaweed at the end and I sunk it in the bottom, but the taste should suit you, Noelle. And there aren't any particular manners to follow. You can do what you want as long as you use a ladle to scoop the soup in the small plates and that you eat directly from the pot to keep the flavor. Serious directly? That's Alina. Alina is making a bitter face. She probably thinks that it's rude of an attendant to eat from the same pot as the master. However, that's not my problem. Nabe is a cookery that warms both the body and the mind, and it's eaten in happy family circles. That's a fitting dish for us. Don't you think? Serious, I grin as I take some vegetables directly from the pot and eat them. Fumu, though its flavor is plain and unsatisfying when compared to my previous life, it's still a delicious dish. Family, a happy family circle, huh? If it's for the family then, it can't be helped, Alina. That's right, it's just as serious. Amma said, this dish is for us. Thus, without any further delay. Hot Noelle, though I prepared a spoon just in case. After I made chopsticks and started using them some time ago, all the members started doing the same. Alina and Dee soon became accustomed to it, but Noelle still lacks experience and loses her grip of the materials, making them fall into the soup, which makes it splash back on her. You're still not accustomed to it. I'll scoop it in the small plate for you, Dee. Thank you, Dee. Noelle. Dee follows up without any delay. You guys just hurry up and start dating. I'll bless you with all my power. The compatibility of the soup and the tofu is very good. I'm probably going to eat a lot, Alina. The tofu is also good for the body and has a diet effect. Serious, is that true? Dee, more tofu, please. Noelle. Got it, Dee. Slow down, the pan won't run away. It's hot, so eat carefully. Serious, of course. But that won't be a problem after letting it cool that much. Hot Noelle. That's due to Noelle having a tongue very sensitive to heat because of her being from the cat subrace. Moreover, that doesn't go well with tofu, which is cold on the surface but hot inside. This girl never falls short to my expectations. After finishing the meal that satisfied me both mentally and physically, I helped Dee and Noelle with their training. I call it training, but I just helped Dee in making a new recipe for a dish and Noelle in practicing the magic picturing that I taught her. I'd only give them an advice from time to time, but that seems to be sufficient for them. Though it's easier and better for me not to have to work more than necessary, it still makes me feel kinda lonely as a former teacher. Because I'm merely advising these two, I can't say that they're my students. When I heard Lior's story this morning, I thought it was sad, but I also started throbbing from remembering my old self. I want to get a disciple. I go to sleep while harboring these hazy feelings. Though I'm anxious, drowsiness comes easily thanks to my giving it my all against Lior. After that, my daily work looked something like this. Physical and magical training. Studying of this world's knowledge. Searching in the next continent. Gathering money to get into school. And, newly added, sham fights with Lior. Every day goes by in this way and I keep growing up nicely. And then, 1 year later, a fateful encounter approaches not far from here.